Hi friends. Let's see, it is Thursday, and today on our Let's Talk with Susie Miller, we're going to be talking about parenting teens in this corona crisis. I made some notes here based on some questions I got. And I want to cover a couple things. Yesterday we talked a lot about kids, and it was longer than I thought it would be, but hopefully it gave you some great value that you can use. Please share these if they give you value so other people can get them. I'm still, like I said, learning all this technology and figuring out where to share what. But I wanted to talk to you today about parenting teens in this corona crisis, because teens have really been hit hard with actually disappointment. I would say disappointment more than anything else, and struggle and frustration. And so you may be noticing that your teens are a little bit more tense or truculent or terse. Hey, how about that for 3 T's? They might just be, more surly, more removed. They may be more explosive. They may be acting out a little bit more. They may be more sullen. They may be sticking in their rooms. They may not be smiling at all. That could be what your teen is like. Alternatively, your teen could be bouncing off the walls, looking for activities in your stuff all the time, wanting you to interact with them, wanting some help, wanting to talk, wanting, all the things that they wanted when they were younger. And you're kind of like, I don't know what to do with this teen. Most of what I'm hearing is teens who are kind of more withdrawn. But in either place, part of what's happening for your teens is a level of feelings and disappointment and frustration and fear that they don't know how to name. Okay? Think about what you're feeling. Think about all the weight of everything that's going on for you, all of the kind of anxiety that's back here in your head. All of that's going on for your teens too. And they do not have the brain maturity to deal with it as well. They're still coming into abstract thinking. As they get older, it's when that part of their brain develops. So they tend to be more black and white. And then there's the whole hormone thing. They're just, one big bundle of hormones and emotions. And so they don't actually have the same kind of control over their emotions and their feelings and their faculties as we do as adults. And so, hi Jen, I'm so glad you're here. And so one of the things I want to talk about with you is what to do to help them in this place. So one of the first things you're going to do, one of the same things I tell adults to do, is help them name their feelings. Sit them down at a time when there's not, I'm sorry, I'm chuckling because my coffee maker is being really loud in the background. Total ADD moment. Oh my goodness. Okay, back it up again. All right, your teens. They're struggling with their feelings and they don't know how to name them. So one of the things you can do is help them name them. There is a feelings wheel. I will try to post a picture of it below. Let me say this up front and I'll say it at the end. There's a resource I'm going to share in the comments from my friend Mona Corwin, who talks about, has ways to talk to all your kids' ages about coronavirus and help them with their feelings. I will post a feelings wheel. And I just found out about my friend Kent Julian is doing this incredible program for teens. It's kind of like a pay what you can. I think the lowest is $5, and I will post that later today. Those are 2 great resources that I think could really help. So be looking for those in my on this page, and I'll post those later today. But let's go back to what you can do while you're waiting for those resources, or right now in this very moment, is you can help your teens name their feelings. So get out a feelings word, if Google it or look at a feelings document and say, hey, what are these things you're feeling? Nothing. Okay. Just in the tone of voice that you said nothing tells me you're feeling something. And you can let them know, hey, we're just going to do this exercise because I want to help you get from where you are to a place where you're more settled and our home can be more settled. Because, teenagers can really kind of change the trajectory of a home with their hormones and their attitudes. And they can cause issues with you and your spouse as well. And we'll cover that at the end here. But what you can do is help them name their feelings. What are you feeling? And no feelings are bad. Do that exercise that we've talked about. They're feeling angry, disappointed, frustrated. And here's the thing I want you to do in those places, mamas and dads, is validate their feelings. Of course you feel that way. Of course that makes sense. Of course you're struggling. Validate what they're feeling, because what we tend to want to do as moms and dads is fix it. Well, if you're feeling angry, or disappointed, I know, what about if we do this? Or how about if you shift over here? And before you can do that, you've got to name their feelings. You've got to validate their feelings. I remember one day, our son came home from school and he's very outgoing, very gregarious. And he said, I don't have any friends. And my very first response was, yes, you do. Of course you do. And I started naming his friends. Totally blew that conversation. He was telling me about a feeling he had. I don't have any friends was something had happened at school, something had happened in one of his, conversations where he was feeling like he didn't have friends. And so our first job is to help them name their feelings and then validate their feelings. Validate their feelings so that they feel heard. You don't have to agree with them. One of the biggest things teens are dealing with right now is disappointment and limitations. And in their world, they've not had to deal with these things. And so part of what we're helping them do is learn these new skills of talking about their feelings, of dealing with disappointment, of being willing to be uncomfortable in this place of boredom or not having friends around, no distractions, kind of the things that keep them and us, to be quite honest, going. All of that's kind of been pushed aside, and now we have to help them navigate what's going on inside of them. This is a chance to help our teens grow in skills and people skills and emotional intelligence and relationship intelligence. And so, sit down and have that hard conversation. Let me set you up for success. No teen is going to thank you for doing this. None of your teens are going to be like, Mom, thanks for helping me grow. No. That's not going to happen. So you've got to be willing to kind of take the bull by the horns and say, I'm doing this as your mom or your dad to help you, as your parent to help you grow. And so we're going to have this conversation. You're going to have to be in it for 15 minutes, set the timer, and then let them go. If they're not able to name their feelings, you may have to name them give them clues to name them for them, if that makes sense. So, gosh, if my graduation was canceled, I would be feeling. If I was stuck in the house, I imagine you're feeling XYZ. I'm wondering if possibly you might be, sad, disappointed, frustrated, exasperated. Give them some words. Look up some feeling words together because your sister is always in your grill. Or you might even be annoyed with me because I'm giving you chores. Like, get them out. Name the feelings for them. Give them context. That will, whether they let you know it or not, it'll bring relief to them because they will feel seen, known, and heard. And that's a need inside of them, whether they're naming it or not. So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do, and this is really important, is we talked about this for us, negotiate their needs. Ask them, what do they think they need? Now, they're going to go, I need to play screen time all the time. And you can say, no, that's a want. I need my brother to not be in my stuff. That's a need. Okay, we can draw some boundaries with brothers and sisters. But I need to not play or be with or entertain my siblings. No, that's a want. The family has needs, but let them get out their needs. I need friend time. I need, this FaceTime with this person, or I need solitude, or I need some time. I need help with my homework. Let them talk about those things. Write them all down, each one on a separate Post-it note, and then look at where they can have a win. Okay, if you really want, or need some time with your friends, how about we designate, this chunk of time where you can just be on your video games with your friends. They're learning skills. You don't even need to worry about that. How about we navigate this time where you're alone in your room and you're getting to read or do your homework or focus. We as a family need you to help with your siblings over here. And so that's part of one of the things you're going to have to do. And I know that's not a need for you, sweet son or daughter, but we as a family have this need. And remember, we're all in this together. We're in Team Gresco. We're on Team Baker. We're on Team Zatelli. This is what our team, our family needs at this time. But if they get a chance to have some power and some control and some sense of, control over what they get to do, then they're going to feel more empowered, more enabled, or equipped. You don't want to, enabled to get through the day. You guys know what I mean. But I want to say it this way. So map it out. Get their input on what's the schedule look like. If your teen's like, well, I want to get up at noon and go to bed at 3 a.m., feel free to say no. Say, how do we navigate your needs and the family needs? But you could sleep till 9. And then we have family time from maybe 7 to 9 twice a week. You don't have to entertain your kids and have family activities every night of the week because of this corona crisis. You can have a normal night where they go to their rooms, you have time with your husband, or you sit and watch TV and just check out, or you read a book together, or you get your alone time. This is not entertainment vacation time. This is, how do we navigate this well with what our family needs at this time? So, have them help with the structure of their day. Help them, what do you think how do you think this would work in our family? This is what I need as a mom. This is what your dad needs. This is what our family needs. Tell me how you think you could fit into this. Tell me where you think you could help structure your day to be part of the family, but also get your needs met. When teens get involved in the planning and the teens get involved in the, mapping out of their lives, they're going to have more buy-in. We're all that way. Their first answer is going to be, oh no. And you're going to pause and go, okay. Great answer first time, but I think you do know. And if you're willing to give them time to, take it back to your room, think about it, come back, we'll talk about in a few minutes, in a few hours. Because remember, some people process at different times of the Like some people process quickly and can tell you right then, hey, here's how that could work. Other people need to go back and think about it because they're internal processors. But invite your teen to be part of the discussion and part of the planning of their day. This is the thing I learned with my teens early on, and this was another lesson from my oh so wise mama, and that was, what can you let go? I love a made bed. I love a neat room. My kids, I was not on their radar screen. So our deal was they had to change their sheets, and make their bed at least once a week. But otherwise I had to pull the door shut because I didn't want to go by their house. I didn't want to go by their room in our house and see the mess. So they pulled their door shut. That was a argument I gave up. So especially now, what arguments, what standards can you give up on? What can you lower and not what's the word? It's not lower and give up and like, maybe it is a win for them, and let them know that, like, I'm letting you do this because that's important to you. I can let go of a bed being made every day in your room. Let's negotiate. So what can you let go of? Where can they have a few wins? That's really important. Okay, so we're going to help them name their feelings. We're going to help them kind of negotiate what they need with respect to the family. And then the last thing I want to talk about, and this was a question that came in, was what do we do when it escalates? When my spouse thinks one thing, when I think another thing, when my teen thinks another, and we're having a discussion and it escalates into an explosion. Okay. Of course it's going to. There's hormones, there's hotheads, there's all kinds of hassles. There's just the weight of the world on us. And so we're all a little bit got a shorter fuse. And so when that happens, in the moment, I want to invite you to throw a penalty flag, just like in football, or call a timeout like they do in baseball, and stop the game, stop the conversation, and go, okay, everybody their corners. We're just stopping, dead stop, full stop, penalty flag. With football, the whistle blows, the flag goes down, everything stops. And if you have that in your mind and you set that up, make yourself a penalty flag and say, I'm throwing the penalty flag. We are not doing this to each other. Honey, you go over there. I'm going over here. Child, you go up to your room. We will regroup, okay? You've got to stop that escalation in the moment because otherwise it gets ugly. And just say that. Just name it. This is getting out of hand. I'm calling it. So that's one tip for in the moment. If you're having a lot of discussions that are tough, there's things that you need to do ahead of time to get you ready. Have the conversation with your spouse. Let them know what we just talked about. Have them watch this video. Ask them, what do they need from their child? It's funny how when our kids misbehave, it's their child or my child. I say to John often, your son, your daughter needs to do this. Ask them, your spouse, what do they need from this teenager to help them feel respected, to help them feel like their teen is part of the family plan. Get them involved in the conversation separate from the teen, and then bring that to the family discussion of, okay, teenager, we need to talk about what we're doing because you are an active, involved member of this family. You are too big for me to carry from place to place and make you listen, but you still are required to be respectful and listen and kind of obey the rules. Have that conversation with your spouse and bring that together as a unit to the team. Your dad and I need this from you. Your dad and I, and let them, lay out their things that they would like to negotiate and give them a couple wins. Plan ahead of time. What are our non-negotiables? If our non-negotiable is they've got to watch our brother during time when both of us are working, let them have a bunch of wins and make that a non-negotiable. You're teaching them skills, okay? This is not easy for any of us. It's not easy parenting a teen when there's not this corona crisis going on. But I will say this as we close. There are things that your teens are going through that they can't name in general based on hormones, and so everything's escalated. In this time, there's even more on them. And the more you can help them get out. If your teen's not a talker, do a creative project with them. Or one time when Zach was struggling with something, we went outside and just threw the football back and forth. One thing that we did then that was a huge tip is we changed places. I said to him, okay, you make my argument for me, and I'll make your argument for you. You can try that. That's a huge tip with teens. But whatever you do, remember, they're mostly just toddlers in big bodies, and they're struggling like you are. So if you can remember them being sweet and cute and cuddly when they were having tantrums and think about them that way, it will help. It will help you kind of gain a different perspective and maybe be a little more patient with your teen. And you know what, mamas, here's the thing. You're going to blow it. They're going to blow it, and it's okay. Learn to go back and say, hey, I'm sorry. Teach them to say, I'm sorry. Come back together. Remind them that you love them, gangly, hormones and all, and that you're going to get through this together. So those are some tips for today. If you have questions or more, areas you want me to cover, pop it in the comments. put it in a PM to me if you want it to be private. Check back later today. I will have some resources for you. I just found out about a couple that I was researching as this parenting teen question came up again since yesterday. So I will have a few resources for you on this page for you to check out and use as well. I'm so glad you've joined me. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Mona. Thank you all for watching and joining me. Share this if you think it'll help somebody. Be sure to tag me. And again, if you have questions, if I can serve you in any way, please, please, please reach out to me and let me know what I can cover in these lives. And I will see you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. Have a great day.